Hello YouTube, this is Raiho Circuit here with a deck profile for the March 2011 ban list. This deck is, in all factuality, a Immortal Bushi deck. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? Firstly, 3 Armageddon Knight. Targets include Necro Gardener, Destiny Hero Dasher, and obviously the Immortal Bushi. I run this in 3s because I always want to ensure that I have this card in my hand when I first draw. The ability to dump the Necro Gardeners or the Bushi when I need to, or early game, is very important. A lot of field clearing is very prominent in this format. So bring in an Armageddon Knight, dump your Immortal Bushi, and you're pretty much set unless your opponent decides to DD crow you. But that's certainly not going to happen first game. So Armageddon Knight, run in 3s. There are 4 targets. If need be, you can target itself, whatever. So there you go, it's Armageddon Knight to begin with. Next up, 2 DD Warrior Ladies. A lot of people have told me I should run this in 3s. I've decided to run it in 2s because I find it to be more effective. This deck is an offensive deck rather than a defensive deck, so running it in 2s is probably more beneficial, as I don't want to constantly be setting, especially in this format. Opponent Nobleman you. A lot of people have been maining Nobleman, particularly against plants, and just because they have room for it. So 2 DD Warrior Ladies runs better. Next up, 1 Destiny Hero Dasher. It not only is a target for the Armageddon Knights, it's also a pretty heavy hitter. Tribute something for it, bring it out, there's a Dasher. Tribute a card on the field to have it gain 1000 attack, which allows it to run over most heavy hitters. Doesn't quite give it the ability to run over Shooting Star Dragon, but it can run over Scrap Dragon, Stardust, etc, etc. So this card is very, very good to have. Furthermore, its ability when in the grave allows you to special summon a card that you draw during your draw phase. In this deck, the ability is to swarm the field using this card is very, very nice to have. One more thing, it's a level 6. I'll explain later that it can be synchroed or tuned for level 8. Next, 2 Divine Knight Ishzark. I was running this in 3s, but I decided a tech card, which I'll explain later once again. Divine Knight Ishzark removes what it destroys by battle from play. Attack a Mystic Tomato, Sandgan, Glow Up Bulb, whatever you want to do, like that, and it doesn't get its ability for that. It goes to the grave, or Glow Up Bulb doesn't get to revive itself by the mill, and it really slows down a lot of decks. With Solidarity on the field, it becomes a 3/100 attack hitter, so you can easily run over cards like Shi-En in Six Samurais. Also, stopping the synchro from even happening and running over the tuners stops double-edged sword technique. Okay, these Pashul, a level 2 tuner, and Elder of the Six Samurai, level 3 Six Samurai. Both warriors, both fit in with the Solidarity, and as you'll see later, both can synchro for Legendary Six Samurai Shi-En. This can't be destroyed by battle when in defense position. Obviously a big weakness for this card will be Karakuris, but it's something I'm just going to have to live with. No, never mind. It can be destroyed by battle. It can't be destroyed by battle in either position, but Karakuris will be able to deal massive damage over it. Elder of the Six Samurai, also a weak card, but if you can manage to pull off a special summon of that, a normal summon of that, and a synchro for 5, or I keep this up, pay your thousands, and go for broke with that next turn. It's really good to do. Next, Marauding Captain. Another kind of a tech card in this deck. Not necessary, however, you can summon it and bring out any other monster from your hand that's level 4 or lower. helps you go for good damage. that plus that, or that plus a tuner for synchroing 5, 6, or 7. So yeah, it's good. It's good to have. Next, I run 1, 2, 3 Koa'ki Meiru Bergzak. This card is a big trump card for this deck. The only cost of having it on keeping it on the field is revealing a warrior type monster in your hand during your end phase. This can be an end gaming card. Run over their monster, attack directly for 2,000, 2/8 when Solidarity is on the field, 3/6 with 2 Solidarities, 4/2, 4/4 with 3 Solidarities. Obviously getting less and less likely as the attack goes up, but still the ability that this card has is quite amazing. Having 2 Bergzak on the field, run over a Dandelion, run over a token, attack directly. So this card, this format, lovely. Next, Necro Gardener. Dump target mostly. I have used this for an attack beater with Solidarity on the field because I had no other choice at the time. But mostly you want this card to be in the graveyard so you can remove it to negate your opponent's attacks. Rose, Warrior of Revenge. Nothing more than a level 4 tuner. Rarely use its effect, but its effect does come in handy sometimes. I don't want to be using it with Prime Material Dragon on the field though. XX Saber Full Helm Knight is my level 3 tuner. It negates attacks, or negates a attack. And that's it really. It's probably my most important tuner in the deck. Helps me go mostly for 6s and 7s, and sometimes 8s. There's only one real opportunity for 8, and that's with this card, Turret Warrior, my level 5 warrior tech. One of the techs anyway. This card has been my winning card for a lot of the games I've had. Particularly summoning Bergzak, tributing it for Turret Warrior, a special summon. 3/200 attack beater, Shi-En can't run over it, your opponent's dead. They got nothing they can do, they're dead in the water. A lot of people are apprehensive to use Dark Holes against themselves when they have 2 or 3 Shi-Ens on the field as well, which is really nice to do. So this card is a big troll card. And yeah, it's not quite compatible with Bushi though, unfortunately. Doesn't get the gain. 2 Immortal Bushi. When you control no monsters and only have warriors in the graveyard, you can special summon this card during your standby phase. Combos well with a lot of cards in this deck. That's what this deck is based around basically. With Solidarity on the field, it gets a plus 800 attack bonus, 2000 attack that keeps reviving itself. Is really nice. Level 3 as well, so it stops some gravity binds or anything like that from affecting you too much. So against stall decks, this card is also quite handy. Yep, that's it for Bushi. My final card, my final tech card. There's a lot of techs in this deck, I do admit. But General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. It's a warrior. 200 attack and 300 defense. Its ability is that your opponent cannot resolve their effects unless they discard a card from their hand. Kills Infernities. Absolutely kills Infernities. They can't discard when they activate their effects, because their effects only activate when they have no cards in their hand. There you go, big lock right there. With Solidarity in the field, this card reaches a mighty 2900, but it can run over most Infinity cards anyway. So there you go, General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. Onto spells. 3 Solidarity. Everything in this deck is a warrior. Extra deck, main deck, side deck, whatever, warriors. So this card is very important to have. Much more effective than Burden of the Mighty, obviously. But Solidarity is just a card to have everything run over everything else. Reinforcement of the army searches my deck. That's all I can say. My deck is warriors. Level 4 or lowers, they're a little bit less off, but you know, the ability to search for them is lovely. 2 MST. You want to be destroying back rows, you want to be destroying necrovalleys, etc, etc. Otherwise you're going to be screwed. Monster Reborn. revive stuff, run over stuff, whatever you want. You know, reviving opponent stuff with synchros is pretty fun to do as well. Giant Grenade is self-explanatory. Clear the back row. Dark Hole, clear the monster zones. Mind Control and Creature Swap. Immortal Bushi is going to keep reviving itself, so Creature Swap when you bring out an Immortal Bushi, take control of whatever they got. Shooting Star Dragon. There you go. You're running your opponent over, going for broke, and utilizing its effect. This is a very nice tech card to have. Mind Control, similar deal. Steal your opponent's cards for synchroing, or mind control stuff like their SSDs, and then Dark Hole it yourself. 2-card combo. Yeah, it's probably, you'd think of it as a waste, but it's better than letting your opponent have an SSD on the field. Next up, I can get them out. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. I was considering running Compulsory Evacuation Device over Bottomless Trap Hole. I've started on Bottomless Trap Hole anyway, because it's being better. The ability to remove is great. There you go. 2-dimensional prisons. The opponent attacks, you deprison their Stardusts, they can't do anything about it. You deprison their SSDs, they can't do anything about it. They're both big this format. Dark Bribes, run over Magic Drain and 7 tools, or 7 tools and 7 tools, or 7 tools and Solemn Judgment. Basically because I can use it whenever I want. Negate a spell, negate a trap. You know, you can't have this sitting as 7 tools sitting there, your opponent activates Dark Hole and then somehow goes for game. You can't 7 tools that. Your opponent wants to go for I can't really think of anything. Your opponent mirror forces to where you're trying to go for game. You can't Magic Drain that. So I run Dark Hole because it's more variable. You can do whatever you want with it. Mirror Force and TT. I like TT over Mirror Force. However, both is nice to have. Finally, Royal Oppression. Turret Warrior, Synchroing, and Immortal Bushi are the only synchros. Oh man, Monster Reborn are the only special summonings I do in this deck. It's a lot less than what a lot of other decks are doing these days. So having this card in there is great to have. It shuts down so many players, so many opponents wanting to do crazy special summoning, crazy whatevers, and yeah. Onto the actual deck now. 2 X-Saber Wayne, because X-Saber Wayne, never used the ability, but level 5 tuner nonetheless, synchro nonetheless. Legendary Six Samurai Shi-En, because Legendary Samurai Shi-En, Six Samurai Shi-En. Only one opportunity to go for it, but I go for it very often, and it's a warrior, and it does what I want. 3 Gaia Knight, the Force of the Earth, runs over Stardusts, level 6. Shame you can't use Goyo anymore, who cares, there's Gaia Knight. 3 X-Saber Herbal, terrible card, terrible attack, terrible defense for its level, never does what you want it to do. Its ability is but it's a level 7 and we can't use Lightning Warrior here, so X-Saber Herbal just for the ability to go for level 7. Final synchro, 3 Colossal Fighter, it's a given. I go for this slightly less than I would my other synchros. I should kind of fix that, I think, but all my cards are warriors. I gain massive attack with this card. And Solidarity, I've had Colossal Fighter at 6300 before. Okay, finally, just quick run through my side deck. My Bodies of Shield, a lot of field blowing this format. Second Raiho to negate all the Infinities. Golem's Emergency Call against Sabers. Nobleman against Plants. 2 Chalice to negate effects whenever I want to. 2 Crevice against, grave reliant decks. 3 Rivalry of Warlords because, Rivalry of Warlords I run on Warriors. And 3 Dust Tornado against back row heavy decks. And that's it. Running out of time now. Thank you for watching my first deck profile. I'll have more on their way very shortly. I'm currently building 2 other decks. I'll also be having card discussions, etc. coming up. And yeah, so thank you for watching my video. Any comments, suggestions, leave them in the field below, and I'll try and get back to you. Thank you very much. See you later.